Yep, and we have a little more beer and wine and soft drinks and stuff. It might make it easier. If you have a smartphone, go out on your internet and type in Daniel Blackman, and please read his bio. Dr. Smoot had got an extensive bio as well. Daniel is going to talk to us a little bit about the politics of the environment. He has been a candidate for office. He can tell you about that. I was hoping he'd run again, but I don't think he's going to. But he's involved politically with the Obama administration on several commissions that have to do with the environment. Yay! He can talk to us a lot about the Paris Accord. We're proud to have him. Are you in the 7th? You're in the 7th instead of the 9th.
I'm in the 7th.
Yeah. But he's in the 9th too. He comes over here all the time.
I visit you guys a lot, so
you're hardworking.
And if you don't know him, please read his bio, because he's going to be a force politically in the 7th and the 9th and maybe in the state. He is young. He has a beautiful family. He's our future, along with some other young Democrats that are coming up. Daniel Blackman, thank you.
Yay.
It's a pleasure to be here. Richard, John, love you guys so much. I didn't pay her to say all of that, but I do appreciate the comments. And to Josh McCall, and if you're a candidate, just wave at me. Well, good. There we go. Josh McCall in the back, and I see Shelley James in the back as well. And I got to shout out my Forsyth County folks. So if you're from Forsyth, Wilma on the front row. If you're in the 7th District, we're here as well. So give us a round of applause. So there's several things that I'm going to speak briefly about, but you know, I'm even though the science, and thank you for your presentation, but even though the science shows a lot of negative things, there are some things to look forward to that I'll get into, such as the fact that even though the president pulled out the Paris Accords, over 367 mayors, including Republicans from around the United States, have committed to the Paris Accords. So, and here's a good thing, right? Well, you can clap for that as well. But here's the act of God that's kind of like in this whole scenario. Even though President Trump pulled out the Paris Accords, it takes 4 years to actually pull out the Accords. And the fact that it takes 4 years, the next president, which we're hoping will be someone else, which it will because we're going to all go and vote, the next president will have 30 days to assure that the United States does not completely pull out of the Accord. So that's good to know on the first step, right? So I'm going to talk about a couple of things. I'm going to start my way from Georgia, and then I think I'll probably just end on the most pertinent portion, which is who is actually making decisions on behalf of the White House. Not just on the behalf of the White House, but who's actually, you know, there on that's doing the things for our environment. It's very important. My wife tells me every day, stop watching so much news. I think it is very hard for all of us to not pay attention, because every second, we used to be able to say every day, but every second, oh, I don't need the light off, I'm good. No, I'm okay. I don't need the lights off. Yeah, how about that? Can we do that? Yeah. So, but what I will say is that it's critical for us to pay attention to President Trump's cabinet and not his rhetoric. We're so focused on the ignorance that comes out of his mouth every day, and we have to understand that while he's tweeting, policies are changing, regulations are being removed, and the Senate and the House are passing the most erroneous types of bills that are in direct contradiction to protecting the environment, as well as in contradiction to our ability to protect our lands. When you look at a state like Georgia that has 159 counties, we always hear folks talk about Georgia and Metro Atlanta. We rarely hear folks talk about the areas outside of Atlanta and the rural parts of our state and the rural parts of our country. And that's what I want to kind of touch on today. So I'll start off by just giving a really quick, my name is Daniel Blackman. In 2014, I ran for the Public Service Commission in the state of Georgia. If you know what the Public Service Commission is, wave at me. There we go. That's a smart group. There we go. I appreciate it. You know how hard it was going into rooms explaining people what the Public Service Commission actually did? But, you know, I ran for the Public Service Commission in 2014 for two reasons. The first reason was because when I got involved in the environmental conversation, I did not understand why Georgia, being, I think we're sixth in the United States for the ability to be able to receive solar. And I didn't understand why Georgia Power's 20-year plan had not 1 ounce of solar in it. All of it was coal, all of it was natural gas, it was no solar, and I can honestly say that we actually worked with the Tea Party. We disagreed on 99.9 bar over the 9 of things, but on the way we generated power in this state, we were able to agree, and we moved and pushed and forced Georgia Power to implement solar in their integrated resources plan. Once we did that, which I thought was a tremendous opportunity, I started looking at the fact that when Georgia Power put Plant Vogtle, the new ones that we're getting online, how many people know that Georgia was one of 2 states? I say was because South Carolina just pulled out of their nuclear construction because the contractor, Westinghouse, that is the contractor for both Georgia Power Southern Company as well as the one in South Carolina, it went bankrupt. And Plant Vogtle was supposed to go online in 2016. It is now looking to go online by 2021. And even if you don't have Southern Company or Georgia Power, you have an EMC, you're going to feel the impact of that in your wallet. The reason why is because in 2009, under the leadership of Governor Sonny Perdue, 2 things happened. Number 1, Senate Bill 33 was passed, which made Georgia one of the first and only states to put the entire cost of the construction of the nuclear facility on the consumer. Georgia Power initially, $14.6 billion was the initial amount, which is way too much money. We're currently using 53% of Plant Vogtle 1 and 2. We're not even using the full capacity of our existing nuclear facilities, but Georgia and South Carolina became the first 2 states in 30 years to begin the construction of new nuclear facilities. So Georgia, our friends down under the Gold Dome thought it would be a great idea to pass something called QUIP, which literally stands for Construction Work in Progress. What that meant was that even though the facilities, the nuclear was being constructed, in the event that it didn't even go online, the consumers were on the hook to pay for the nuclear facilities. Georgia is currently in the process of potentially paying upwards of $2 million per day for every day that those nuclear facilities are not online. And that's taxpayer money. And when Senate Bill, oh, I thought that was me. When Senate Bill 33 passed, it was one of the worst consumer deals for folks in this state, and I'm going to tell you why. The asthma rates amongst young children in the state of Georgia are skyrocketing, and instead of our Public Service Commission focusing on things like clean water and clean